Okay, good afternoon, FDW. I'm gonna make a quick video explaining why I'm actually teaching you the Zhoutai weaponry. Some of you like it, some of you hate it, and some of you dislike it but are staying quiet about it. So, there are a lot of different opinions of this kind of gun, flat out. I'm gonna briefly tell you why I think it's important that you learn it, and as such, why I'm actually teaching you it. So the big thing is, it's the opposite of RCL. RCL is definitely probably one of the biggest guns used in clans right now. Not because it in its stock form is used often, but because so many iterations and modifications have been made to it to accommodate different guns. So there's no doubt that RCL is important. But I've already covered that, and not literally every clan in Roblox uses it. So it's the opposite of RCL in that it's intended for very long range. And I mean like longer than Bricktop's range. Well, Bricktop's or longer, like the long way. That's how far you're supposed to shoot from, generally. You can shoot closer. It can be used in close quarter combat. It's just not designed explicitly for that. It kills quickly. So basically, that encourages a lot of cover use, and if you learn to use cover properly, you'll improve in RCL too. You'll improve in a lot of different guns. It can corner shoot, unlike RCL, which a lot of different guns can do, but RCL in its stock form cannot. So, to recap that much, it's long range, kills quickly, and you need a lot of cover. And RCL isn't the only gun used in clans. I'll also be, down the line, most likely teaching you YouTube's weaponry, Turbo Fusion, Isaac Doom weaponry, possibly Jordy Mac weaponry, Lark weaponry, or WARC, Wiz weaponry, basically. And probably Scripts weaponry, which is on the newer side, and very similar to RCL, so you'll pick it up super fast. The thing is, I already spent months on FTW, teaching you guys to learn RCL, and that's important. It's so important that we practice it, but you need to learn new things, otherwise you're just practicing, and a training isn't designed just for practice. It's just designed to make you actually, learn to use a new gun. So I feel like the why behind why you're using it is readily apparent enough. So it's important as far as guns use, even though it's a slowly dying gun, and it might not be used much longer. It teaches you base concepts that you can apply to other guns. It wouldn't be fair for me to not list its apparent cons, though, so I will tell you the cons about it. It breaks pretty often, as a lot of you've noticed, or at least it's rather easy to break. Generally speaking, it doesn't break on its own, it breaks as a result of something someone does. But it's easy to break. This can usually, unless the gun somehow shatters, and that happens now and then, but that's significantly less often occurring. So, you can usually fix this by pressing backspace, and then unequipping and re-equipping it a few times. If this doesn't help, then of course your best option is probably to reset. So, it's a fixable con, but it's still a con. The F key changes your firing mode, which is in itself entirely useless. It doesn't make it more accurate, and it doesn't make it in any way better. It has 3 firing modes. It's automatic, it's burst mode, and it's single shot. The single shot, you can just click in automatic mode to do that. The burst, you can just click for maybe a second in automatic mode, then let go to do that. So that's definitely a con. It's pretty much useless to most people. Some people might find it useful. Ultimately, though, it has very little use. It has a broken prone and crouch keys, which in itself isn't terrible, but basically the C and X keys will break your character unless you use them to drop your legs, which I teach in trainings. So, unless you intend to do that, obviously, breaking your legs is a bad thing. So that's the base things. Some people might think of your inability to jump properly with these guns as a bad thing. I don't think it is. while there are more effective ways to clip jumping, this is actually pretty purposeful. So you can't shoot through yourself with this gun, which I feel makes sense. For the sake of realism, it makes sense. Jumping with the gun, you can do it, it's just harder, and I can teach you to do it. But ultimately, this promotes a lack of bunny hopping and cover use, which is what the gun is meant to be used for. So, for most of its cons, it does have a pro, or at least a reason behind the con or why it can be used still. So I'm going to spend a good bit of time with you on this weaponry, and that's it flat out. That's not changing. So hopefully this will clear the air on some reasons why I prefer it, or at least why I use it. And it's not my favorite gun type. My favorite gun type is probably Isaac Doom or RCL or Scripps. But it's definitely an important gun type. And despite the fact that it's slowly dying out, it teaches you basic skills that you can apply to other gun types, including raycast guns. So that's basically the conclusion of this video. I intended for this to be an incredibly fast one, just a quick audio announcement for you to listen to before training or after training. So if you have any questions about the gun, of course I intend to teach you them. So ask it in the training or on the wall and I'd be happy to answer. The more you work with this gun type and actively try to learn to use it, the sooner we're going to be done with it. The sooner we'll move on to, I'm not sure, Wark or YouTube's or Turbo Fusion or Isaac Doom. Any of those different guns we can use, but not before I teach you Zhoutai. We're also going to continue training in RCL, but not as heavily. We'll be doing it once every 2 or 3 days, is my estimate, just to keep you guys in a good aim. So that's going to be the conclusion of this video. I hope that this helps you guys at least understand why I'm doing this and understand that I'm not doing things pointlessly. There's a purpose to what I'm doing. So yeah, if you have any questions at all, post it in the comments on the wall, in training, or send me a message and I'd be happy to answer it. If you'd like to vote on which gun type we do next, I'd be happy to consider that because we've covered, well, we will have covered 2 polar opposites, RCL and Zhoutai. So once we get those out of the way, we just have a bunch of different kinds of weaponry types, including first-person weaponry, and different raycast weaponry, and different basically point-and-shoot weaponry, and projectile weaponry. There's a lot of different kinds. So I'll consider letting you guys vote on it if you work to do well in Zhoutai. Alright, that's all I have for this video. Until next time.